Studios. We have an officer basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops now podcast hosts.
They don't have ID. They can't get into a hotel room.
To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
You guys have going on is necessary, it's needed.
Hey, this is David Kohlmeier, the problem solver. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today is Thursday, and we are live here at Sticky Pie Studio at 215 in Rainbow. Today, as usual, we're talking about different problems, things that are going on in the news. And one of the big topics, even though it's far away from here, is in the country of Iran, which a lot of people know as, a lot of people that know as Persian people that live in Iran, had a major situation a few weeks ago in regards to the death of a female named Mahsa Amini. And there's something which people don't know, which is called morality police. And I know that in America, we have a lot of different issues that people are vocal about in regards to policing in America, right? There's policing in other countries, and something called morality police. So today, I have three lovely women that are going to be here that are from the descent of their background is from Iran. So I want to thank the three lovely people. I have Ava here today.
Hi.
I have Ida.
Hello.
And I have Mandana.
Hi.
So I have lovely three ladies that are here, and they all come from a background from Iran, and they live here locally. And I wanted to basically find out their views and get their opinions about what's taking place. So again, if any of you guys want to jump in, who's the leader of the pack here?
Wanda, go ahead.
All right, so let's go with Mandana. Go ahead and tell us who is Mahsa Amini and why should people care about this female that passed away?
Well, hi. First of all, hi to everyone who's non-Persian and doesn't speak Farsi and doesn't know what's going on right now around the world, especially in Iran. So Mahsa Amini was a 22-year-old young lady who was murdered by the morality police in Iran. So there's the regime in Iran, of course, a lot of you have heard of this, but it's the Islamic Republic of Iran. So it's the Islamic regime. And so they try to force Islam down people's throats. So in any way, shape, or that's possible. So they have this sect of the government called the morality police, and they let 9 out of 10 people go free and do whatever they want and be opinionated and dress however they want to a certain degree. They still have to have the hijab, so cover their hair and cover their bodies for the most part. But out of those 10 people, for example, they'll pick on one person to teach everybody else a lesson. They'll take that person, all of a sudden there's a gang of them. They come a lot of times with an ambulance that you would think they're coming to actually help the people, to come for somebody who's injured. And yet they, just start crowding this singular person, usually women, who are dressed inappropriately to their minds, and they'll take her. And mind you, Mahsa Amini had hijab on. She just had the scarf on, and some of her hair was showing. And so most of Iranian women walking outside in the streets, that's how they dress, sometimes even worse. So because we see videos everywhere in Iran. Feel free to jump in anytime.
Yeah.
So
I mean, also it's based on how much money your family has too. Like,
yeah, that's a big deal, yeah.
Basically money buys, they're all about money. And so those who are very privileged can probably get away with a lot more than the average not rich, well-to-do. And it's more like, what is that saying? For me, what is that saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
I can't think of anything right now.
Well, here's a question for you. So when you say they have money, so we're saying that there's corruption, like in the police force,
100%.
right? But if I go up to you and you're a female and I'm the morality police, how do I know if you have money? I mean, is your face known,
you can say
or
you're related to somebody
you
else?
say I'm related to somebody?
Somebody else in your
last
family.
names. If you throw out
So it's
names,
known.
last names.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they might take you and then later on you just pay them off.
Yeah.
And you're good to go sometimes.
Got it.
Sometimes you're not, because I haven't even lived in Iran since I was 13 years old, and I'm not even familiar with this kind of an issue, but I just saw videos and I know a lot of people who travel back and forth, and this happens all the time. And a lot of people who go back and forth, like a lot of close friends of mine, this happened too, where they'll go and then they can just pay off the cops, the morality police,
A couple of
and
years,
they can be out.
A couple of years ago, I went to Iran, and my aunt was actually, they took my aunt, the morality police, and it was because like the makeup or something like that. It was BS, whatever they picked on. So they threw her in the ambulance that you talked about, and they took her, and she had to like lie or something like that, and come up with some BS story, and just to like get her out. We couldn't pay her off. I mean, that was like 5-6 years ago, but I mean, it was just over makeup.
How much money, like, is it? I always ask the same question, like when people go to Mexico, that if you get stopped by the police, you could actually give the cop money. It's corrupt over there as well. How much money to get out of this morality police situation? Is it like an American money? Is it $20? Is it $50? Is it $100?
No, thousands.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Sometimes they can't even if you're rich, you can't even pay them off, because right now we have the guy Shervin, who actually produced this song. I mean, sent it out, and everybody was singing it, and it got famous, and they're trying to enter it into Grammys. Somebody's saying they can't really do that. It's technical stuff, but anyway. But he was in prison, and I heard he's been released on bail. So, or in jail and then released on bail. I'm like, okay, so they have money, but that doesn't mean they can get away with stuff. And that doesn't mean they're not going to be, while they're in custody, they're not going to be beaten up. Where Massa was beaten up, and they said, she just died on her own. She came with this medical condition.
They said. Like she basically landed in a hospital. They took her to hospital, then went to coma and died.
Yeah, and she passed out. There's a video of her in police custody. She passed out. Yeah.
And they're like, no, she never had pre-existing issues.
I do want to say about the morality police, it's not just women. They hyperfixate on women and what they wear and like the hijab and everything, but it's men too. Like men's attire has to be appropriate.
Or
your
if
t-shirt,
you happen to be...
Yeah, can't wear shorts.
If you happen to be...
Like wife beaters.
Gay...
Yeah.
lesbian.
Yeah. No, not transgender.
Or any other,
that.
if you're not Islam, like Muslim or anything like that, they also, it's like the Baha'i or
the
something.
Baha'is,
Yeah.
the Christians,
Jews.
the whatevers. Yeah, the Jews.
You can be killed.
I just want to say that, although it's like Islamic Republic, it's just a shame that they turned the religion into how it's not, too. For those that actually do practice.
I don't know. I
majority, I know, but majority of Iranians, they are Muslims,
peaceful,
and they're peaceful, and basically the book doesn't say all the things that they're
Like conspiracy, like their propaganda that they're using.
like they like the Quran doesn't say like wear a hijab 24/7, like things like that, or oppress the woman or things like that.
I just know when the religion takes over a government, it's always a crap show, because you have people interpreting what the book and the religion means, and when you have a gang of people, and mostly they're men, trying to interpret how you should practice your religion, that's an infringement on your freedom. And I know that's a constitutional issue here in the U.S., but it's actually
everywhere.
a human rights issue. Yeah, so it's like, I want basic rights. They can't even practice their basic rights. Yeah, you'll get a lot of Iranians coming from Iran. Well, not anymore. They're not going to say this anymore because of all these people getting murdered back to back to back. And it's all on social media everywhere. But you'll get these women who used to come and say, oh, everything's cool, everything's good. We just pay off the police. We're good to go, here and there. But we're living our lives. Everything's great. And all of a sudden, everything turned into
A shit show.
a shit show.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't say it any better than that.
I just want to say that one thing back to morality police. I was born and raised here, but I was going to Iran like every other year when I was a kid. And I encountered the morality police twice. One time in Tehran at the airport.
Which is the capital of Iran.
Yeah, exactly. And the biggest airport to get to anywhere in Iran, you kind of go to Tehran. So I went to Tehran, and basically the guy, I'm like trying to get to my mom or parents because we had different, whatever it was. And they come and they're tapping on me and telling me in Farsi, ma'am, you need to put that thing over her head. And they walked me and they told my family, tell her how to put her hijab on correctly, not show hair. And that was kind of like, I think I was like 7 or 9, something like that. And then another time when I actually was and Mashhad, which is the second largest city in Iran, where my family's from. Like, I have 95% of my family there. I was walking, and the houses in our families, like, they're pretty close. Like, you can walk, like, it's like a village, kind of, but it's not a village. So you can, like, walk. And I had the thing on, but loose, and I was walking by myself, and then I got approached by a guy. Yeah, and the guy approaches me out of nowhere. I didn't even know where he's coming from. And he's basically, like, telling me that, where are you coming from? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to my aunt's house down the street. Okay, well, you're going to need to cover this up, and I'm walking you to your aunt's house. And they told the same thing. Tell her to, how to cover her hair. Whatever. I was like, so scary.
Because you're young.
I was like,
Do you remember them screaming or?
I was not screaming or anything.
No, were they screaming at you?
Oh, they were mean.
Parents?
They were mean and yelling.
Okay.
And
Question for you in regards to morality police. Is it always an ambulance? Is it just like a secret?
It's like a big truck.
But does it look like a regular ambulance? Like here, if you see an ambulance driving around, you say it's an ambulance.
It's
Is it
not
always...
the American.
No, sometimes they
ambulance.
use
It's like
those.
it looks like
they also have the cars, like Jeeps.
It's different machines. It
regular
depends.
cars,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you believe they're trying to be more
It's more
undercover.
like a van.
Yeah, it's a
mostly
van.
they have a van.
So they're trying to be more undercover.
That's
They're
the
trying
one
to
we've
be,
seen
right?
on video.
Yeah.
They're not undercover though. That's the thing. When you can spot them from a mile away. Like I remember I went to Iran a couple years ago when I was a child.
They're dressed how they're dressed.
Yeah, they dress in all black, like face covered.
And there are women
everything.
too in them.
Yeah.
Women and men. Yeah.
Mhm. They're all brainwashed, and you can see them. And there's certain hot spots in Tehran where I went there. And they come at a certain time. So at that hour, like if we would go out, we had to like watch what we wore, where we were. Like my parents, well, my mom was with me. They were so nervous, and they were just trying to get like, in the mall or anything like that, like away from them, just because you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know who they're gonna take.
You don't know if you're gonna end up dead.
And the thing
I
is-
haven't personally experienced it, obviously, because I haven't been back for so many years, and I was a kid when I came, and I lived in the north of Iran, so it's way more independent and moderate, and nobody really bothers you. But I was a kid, so it doesn't matter. I didn't have any of these experiences. But all of my friends and all the people in Iran, like what they really want is their voices to be heard. So on social media, you need to use those hashtags for Mahsa Amini, for the freedom in Iran. You got.
Well, I've been starting to put. I mean, what was I going to say? I actually saw someone speak on Instagram, which had a good point, saying like, yes, we're saying Mahsa Amini, she died in the hands of the morality police, but
This is bigger.
It didn't start with her. It has been happening
for 40 years.
It's been happening before her,
Yeah.
and it's happening right now after her. There's another girl they did with Nika Shakrami.
Shakrami.
Shakrami, sorry. Thank you. But it happened with her, and it's just constantly happening.
The difference with it now is now that you have social media out there on the
Yes.
internet and stuff like that.
That's the
That there's
difference.
different social media platforms that are showcasing where.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You need to keep resharing this.
We had a
TikTok, yeah.
revolution a while ago. It was called Jombish Asabs. It's like the
Green Revolution.
Green Revolution. And it was a while ago. It was in the beginning of when they took over.
09.
But the thing is, back then we didn't have social media. We didn't have people talking about it. So now the word's actually getting out. I mean,
think back then just Facebook had just come out. No one
Skype.
knew
No
about
one
it.
could use Skype before that.
And MySpace was.
Yeah, but what
leaving.
is frustrating is like they're fighting for their basic human rights. Like
Yeah.
they're not fighting for like just hijab or
Yeah.
they're not anti-Islam even, a lot of them, even though some people are, but they're not saying that. They're just saying we don't want religious leaders telling us what to do, how to practice our religion or how to be a
Marriage,
human.
how to be
Marriage,
married.
talk.
You
Who to
can't
be
be
married.
a couple. You can't be in a relationship walking down in the street.
You
They
can't
would
even
tell you
hold hands
something.
to your husband.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
even think.
I don't know if this is true, but I just heard like women cannot go
Actually-
to the hotels without their without a man
No, it's
who's
true.
their husband.
They can't get a divorce either, or something like that.
Well, yeah.
They do divorces. That's
I heard
becoming
something. I'm making it
prevalent. But even at the
crazy.
weddings, still, like you're in a wedding, a man
Divided.
and woman,
Yeah.
they still are divided. The men are dancing with the men, and the women are dancing with the women. Like
So here's the question. I mean, do we really
People try
think-
to work around it, but
Still.
if the morality police,
they come and knock on the door
You're
actually
dead.
because if loud noise complaint, nuisance, whatever, they'll come and then they'll be like inspecting, like. Is
So
everyone
here's the
in their
question:
place?
Is it ever going to change? I mean, all the protesting that's going on right now. Do you think it's going to really make a difference?
Yes,
think so.
I
Yeah.
think
You
so.
do.
It has to.
This is the first time it's actually getting out there. I think
so
like
big.
we've never had like this big of like
And this long.
Yeah, it's been going on for
3
I hope
weeks
so.
now.
almost a month.
I just hope
I
so.
guess-
It's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it.
I guess the
And
question is,
even-
where is it going to go? Like, what's the next level? I mean, the problem is they're so deep in the religion.
Democracy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but they're so deep. It just seems so hard to penetrate. Like the government.
Yeah, and we need help from the governments. Like, I don't know what's going on with the UN, the United Nations, or with human rights activists. I have no idea what the heck is going on because there's a lot of stuff they can do. Like, there's court involvement that could happen. But all that's happening is people
Humanitarian aid.
talking. Yeah.
So here's a question for you, which is kind of like gets into a little bit of political, and I'm not trying to play political in regards to, but let's just say some people say, if Trump was in office, whether you like Trump or not, that Trump would do things, and Joe Biden basically.
Yeah, because he did do things.
So what do you think would happen right now? What do you think our president should be doing today?
Oh,
Speaking of, saying something.
And I haven't really been watching
doing
TV that much.
things.
Has he been doing anything?
Yeah, no. Not that I know of. I mean, this is an emergency situation. People are getting murdered by a government for nothing.
Mass murder.
I think it's way beyond this whole what president and what party because, unfortunately, right now, I think it's a two-sided sword because same time it's wrong. It's human rights and everything. It's humanity. Like you're killing like men, women, children for speaking out for basic human rights. Like, we're like the leader supposedly of freedom and democracy, right? But at the same time, what do? We're sitting on oil, right? We're above us is Russia, next to Russia is China. It's like it's so unfortunately entrenched. Like, what do they do and to what extent without it being a proxy war or like a war? Because no one wants another Iraq war or an Afghanistan war, right? We can all, I think, pretty agree. Like.
But they got one right now. They have a war on human beings. They have a war on these young people.
So,
they have a war on these women and some of them.
I think
men.
the best thing is whatever country, UN, humanitarian efforts, all that is to provide things that the people of Iran can have access to or get. And I think
like
really,
internet.
Exactly, internet, media attention.
Their internet is shut down, so they do need internet. And
Skype is doing something. They you can call like house phones or anything like that for free of charge.
Or like somehow,
Right.
some way, like I hate to say this, like the people are fighting with their bare hands. They have no
Rocks,
access
nothing.
to any gun, any bomb, grenade.
right,
nothing.
they don't have weapons.
Like I wish somehow, some
And
way
that can
from
circle
the
back to
Persian
America.
Gulf. Like,
So here's a quick
they
question.
can-
I don't think it fits President Biden's agenda right now to do anything.
Okay.
To be honest,
Here's a
in my
question-
opinion.
two questions that are
no
good here.
offense to, unfortunately, next month is an election.
Why would So some people would say, why should we get involved? This is in Iran. This is another country. Even though you have your background.
Oh, I have
Why?
such an answer for that.
We
one.
got
Go ahead.
involved for Ukraine last time, right? Did we not?
We have. We
Oh,
do.
we're like-
That's what I'm saying. So we've done things for other countries.
Afghanistan.
So some people would say we shouldn't get involved in Ukraine either. Like we should. We have our own. People here today will say we have our own problems in America. We have our own problems in Las Vegas. Why should we care?
I thought that
about
Ukraine was
people in
totally
Here's
different.
the thing. I people should care because number one, it's that they've been assaulting women. Okay.
So for human rights in general, that's why we
It's
should
human
care.
rights. It's women. It's half the population. We also have assaults on women here. I mean, we're not perfect, but we're definitely not Iran. Okay, and we're not Afghanistan. But it's human rights. It's women. It's children.
You don't want a Holocaust again. I mean, this is what's happening right now.
It's
So
pretty much like
So
cleansing
we should
your
stand
own
up for the people, for human beings in general on planet Earth that are being
and you
murdered.
know what? It's spreading to even Afghanistan. The women in Afghanistan, they had to, with us pulling out and stuff. Unfortunately, Taliban took over, and then they can't walk in the streets. They had the whole, besides the hijab, they had the whole body and face covered. They can't go to school. It's shut down. You can't get
You can't get an education.
It's an issue that affects literally everyone.
And let's
Collective
have
humanity and collective societies.
yeah.
We have two leaders in the government right now. Kamala, she didn't do anything, and then Michelle Obama, which so many people are influenced by, who people listen to her. They're not saying anything about what's going on. They're not stepping forward. I mean, we talk about
But what
feminism.
President Biden said, he's gonna. This was on CNN. I saw this yesterday. He said, I want to sanction the morality police.
How are you?
he has no jurisdiction or authority to sanction the morality police in Iran. He could sanction the government and say, you cannot make this atomic, nuclear atom, but he can do that like Trump did it. And then, but what he did was take off the sanctions because a lot of Democrats were crying out, hey, take off the sanctions because Iran is not a terrorist country. But now we're tooting a different horn because now Iran is like out in the open killing people.
Here's the thing.
It's so obvious.
But here's the thing. No one predicted that the money that went, here's the thing though.
Oh,
no one predicted the money would just not go to the people. And it was evident when COVID happened because they weren't giving COVID shots if people wanted it or whatever and not sick and die.
With this crazy people ruling in Iran? The regime is the problem, and it's been the problem, like you said, for 43 years. This didn't begin with Masa Amini almost 3 weeks ago. It happened many years ago, and it's been a lot of protests, every few years, but they don't get to anywhere because people have not been this brave before. Now we have the younger generation.
Which is, by the way, 90% of Iran. 90% of Iran, they're all
That's why they could win.
Women and their children. They're younger than, what, they said 35, 40?
Yeah, like 15, 16, 17, 18, 20s, yeah.
So why do you think they can win? What's the reason why you think?
Because I don't think all of this stuff that they're trying to put on people, it's not working with the young people. They don't get it. They're not from the 1979
And they've been
revolution. They don't get
So
it.
younger
And
people
they
try to say,
have
well, define
access,
this.
and they've had access to
media.
internet and social media, and they're like, "What the heck?" I mean,
They
the
see
girl
how
was
other people
Ni-
behave,
I
and they're
mean,
like, no.
Nika was singing the Weekend song, right? The Weekend, like you wouldn't.
Which, mind you, she was 17 years old, whose birthday was yesterday. And they killed her.
Oh.
There was like many fractures on her face. Like they broke her nose and
this was
everything. And I
worse.
heard that they threw her off a building or something
No.
like that. And what is it called? I forgot. Continue.
They basically, what they did was they took her body like for 8 days and basically hid the body and buried it without telling the family or anything.
Yeah, they weren't allowing them to see her face.
And not
Nikah
allowing her,
Shakarami.
not seeing her face and not having a funeral. And then telling the family, say she was not at the protest and she's not at a funeral. And that's another thing.
They do that a lot. They do that a lot.
They did it for Shervin. They supposedly released him on bail, and then his profile got turned back on, and then it says, "I'm sorry, you guys are using my song for this movement. I stand with my country. I don't want change." You saw that, right?
Yeah, but a lot of people are saying maybe he was forced.
No, that's my point.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
they do over there.
So here's a question for you. So I know that recently one of the trends on social media, TikTok, and so on, where women are cutting their hair. I think I even saw today, man cutting their, his hair as
Yes,
well.
they do
Tell
that.
us, like some people actually, believe it or not, I actually sent this information over to a public relations person that I deal with, and she was like, "This is crazy. This is so sad. We shouldn't have," because I wanted women to basically, or men, come down here today, which is a little bit more difficult to get people to basically cut their hair, like maybe on live TV and needed to make a statement,
Right.
which is more difficult. I know people, like it's different social media where they're out throughout the whole world, you have people going, which is actually more powerful because more people are seeing women cutting their hair. Why cut their hair? Why is that important? Like, how do you think that got started? I guess it's all about the hair.
It's a
all about the
camaraderie.
hair.
It's like, a young person died and it was about the hair showing. And so they just want to stand with them in solidarity and cut their hair too. It's something in the Persian culture where you are showing that you are sad and you are with that person
you're
standing in
empathizing,
solidarity. Yeah.
Well, definitely the whole hair cutting, it has to do with the point that she died over her hair.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this
they're
crap
making
doesn't
sense.
matter.
So
Yeah,
they're
that's-
saying F the
that too.
hair.
Yeah.
Got it.
F the
So is
hair
it more?
with the
Is it?
thing.
Would you say it's both
So
like more of
everyone's
a, like in
solidarity.
memory, solidarity, and like protest as well?
Yeah,
of what
because in the
everyone's
Persian
doing?
culture, somebody was sharing this where it's actually a solidarity thing. But yeah, a lot of people are doing it because, hey, this doesn't matter. Yeah, I've heard the same thing that Ida's saying from other Iranians, that this crap doesn't matter. It's just hair. Get over it. It's just a hair. Two strands are showing.
You killed a girl over her hair.
Yeah.
Showing.
So and then, so do you believe
Blows
that?
to her head, by the way. The hospital records showed blows to her head. So between the time she's arrested to the time she's in the hospital in a coma, there have been blows to her head. Yeah, that's how she died.
All right. So what can we do for people here? I mean, even though this is locally in Las Vegas, but it's going to go all over in general. What can we do? What can we do? People from the United States of America do to help support the cause? I mean, is it cutting hair? Is it the social
No.
media? Like, what can we all do to band together?
We have a protest going on this Sunday
Yes.
at 4:30.
4:30 at Mirage.
You can show up there. We have signs. We have T-shirts. We're giving them out. Just come,
Or
stand with
if
us.
you want to
say
cut
something.
your hair there, just show up.
Make a
protest.
statement.
Make a statement.
Honestly,
walk
the
with
only
us.
thing that we can do is spread the word because we don't have the authority to, do what, celebrities
And we
brands.
can't send money to Iran directly. There's no way, and there's no means, and the money, even if remotely it went there, is not going to go to the people.
But mostly it's media attention and using the hashtags.
Yeah.
And
That get their voice out.
there's a couple of us too are trying to put out billboards around major cities, ad campaign. There's that GoFundMe trending, and in 24 hours there's about $200,000 made. And the purpose is to buy billboards and putting up signs about Iran and Mahsa Amini and women's rights and everyone's rights. So, and I would love to.
It would be
have
great if we
people
could do that for free. If they could just donate it to
donation,
us.
basically donate money for the billboard, or donate billboard or
Yeah.
space. I know they're doing one in LA. I would love to see it in Las Vegas.
One of the
I would
things,
love ad buys on the newspaper or digital ads.
one of the things that's interesting, a lot of these billboard companies are all, private companies, but technically if you had billboard, banner display ads, you could send a letter, from a person or from, one of these nonprofits that you guys may deal with and ask the owner of Clear Channel and Las Vegas billboard companies to that kind of a public service announcement in regard to doing the billboards and asking them to do that for free. And maybe they would be able to do that. It's actually even something that we could do as well.
Okay,
if we
great.
had
Please.
if we have certain digital billboards that you make or you can get them.
We have
we
someone.
can send it.
I have someone because obviously we want to keep it simple and clean and because people have to approve. Obviously, someone made a nice banner and I think it's a great design and it's pretty simple and basic.
So maybe we can get together. Let's come up with some type of design. So I could send it from the problem solver in regards to the different media. We have a very big media list. We could send it out there, and then we can get with the billboard companies and ask them if they would be able to display that, whether it's for a day or whatever month, Let's see what they say. Worst case scenario, I mean, if there's funds available,
It's
then
going to keep going.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be Sunday protest. Like
We've
everyone's
been doing it
gonna-
for every week
This is the
now.
fourth one we have in
Yeah.
Vegas.
But I will share with you, a lot of people say billboards are dead in that regards, that these days, right, your phone is the billboard, right? That everyone's on social media. That's more powerful. And I do
Sure,
agree.
sure.
It's like levels of a cake, and I think
Yeah,
that
but it would be great
billboards
in
would be
Vegas,
good.
It's like
especially since
billboard,
tourists coming.
Yeah,
also.
there's billboards on the strip or by the airport or those even driving vans.
Got it. So here's a question for you. So in
Yeah.
at the Mirage,
something interesting.
the protest that you guys were doing. Actually, I was there. What was the last Sunday at 3:00? I was there. Were you all here? Were you there?
I was in DC. I was
Yeah, I saw your
protesting at
wife
DC.
and
I was
Yeah.
protesting in Seattle last week.
Okay, so is it again Sunday at 3:00?
4:30.
4:30.
4:30. Okay. So here's a question for you. I mean, I thought it was a lot of people that did show up, and I thought it was really good.
Oh, it was a
It was
huge
better than
crowd.
the last three protests that.
Yeah,
it's
the
probably-
first one that
it's
we
probably-
had
I've been
was
going.
barely
Me and
anybody.
Ava have been doing every week.
It's
So-
probably building up as
Yes.
well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I kind of feel like I don't see it enough on the different Persian Facebook groups and different things. I feel like I don't see it as much.
Here's
as
You
it
don't
the
used to
thing,
see it
I,
anywhere on
No, I'm
social
saying you don't
media.
like right
Even
now. I didn't know
locally.
about that event. I don't see like if we go to the certain Facebook groups.
Yeah, all of
It
a
just
lot of my
happened
American friends
yesterday.
said the same thing. Like we don't see it anywhere, and we want to come and be a part of it. So,
So 4:30 this Sunday in front of the Mirage, and then you're walking. I think the last time to like the Bellagio across the street, Planet Hollywood. Is it still Planet Hollywood? Yeah.
it's in front of Mirage.
It's
Yeah,
in front
the
of
walk back,
Mirage.
right?
We were there, and then
4:30 in front of
strip.
the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will give props to Channel 3, who's been consistently coming out because of their correspondent, Tiffany Lane.
I saw
I've
this.
invited Channel 5, 8, 13. 8 has come out one time. Fox just recently reached out this week.
Okay.
I said, we've been inviting you. And then like sending it out to the newspaper, The Sun, the RJ, and all. So I'm hoping
Well, I noticed. I didn't know that.
locally
I saw,
even more exposure and coverage.
Well, it's nice that Tiffany Lane. I didn't know that she was Persian. She was speaking Farsi.
Yes.
There, and I didn't know that, especially the last name Lane.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
I
that.
know.
So, but I thought it was cool. I did see her filming and doing some video. Again, I guess I'm not sure who's really doing it all, but I have a great media list. So if you guys put something together, if you have a flyer, let me know. I'll send it out to the media as well to get people to show up. And then I guess
and also tell your government, tell the people who are
Local
running right now,
politicians.
and don't vote for people who are silent. That's my thing, my personal opinion. I'm not voting at all for anybody this time because I'm just so sick of politics. But nobody is like really delivering what they promise to deliver or what their job is, and they're all always busy and they don't actually respond to people. So they pick and choose. That's my own soapbox. But it would be good for people who have connections or to just get the word out so the government can get involved and do something.
I will share with you one thing that I will share with you that I think it's really important to come up with creative ways. Like I think the hair and the hashtag is good, but for being in Vegas, like it's not easy to come up with things that go viral. And some people believe that, like things just go viral, that you can't just make it up. But if you're very creative and you come up with a concept, so if you guys can come up with something.
Actually, another thing that's been kind of getting momentum viral, Leah Remini, she posted her hair, putting it in a bun, putting her hair up, getting ready to fight as a woman. And so many have been doing that. I did it too. And she's been reposting it. It's
So
called
basically
Put Your
curling it
Hair
up.
Up.
Put your hair up, okay.
Put your hair up. It's the
Just getting ready
hashtag.
to go to fight. Yeah.
Basically, you put your hair up, get ready for battle and fight. And so she did that as a solidarity as to women fighting.
That's what the girls in
all that,
Iran are
and-
doing, yeah.
Well, I know like this month is like domestic violence month where people wear purple, and then there's a what do you
Breast
call it?
cancer
breast cancer,
awareness
which
too,
is pink, and
pink.
then Real Men Wear Pink campaign where a lot of the men.
I think
that
you
are
should unite
ambassadors.
with the people who are doing these protests in the other states as well. Like California is a big one. It would be good to, we know some people like Maysam and who are very active with this stuff in Las Vegas, and they know a lot of people in California and other states. And if we could all do something in unity,
Got it.
would be more
Like the last
loud.
global protest that we had.
It'll be way louder than what we can just do in Vegas.
Got it. So if you
They
guys
could help
want,
us too.
so let's do a few things. So in regards to the problem solver, the whole point of myself in the show is to solve a problem. So I guess the biggest thing right now for anyone in Vegas that wants to, this video is out there. It's gonna be live. We can share this video to get to work because a lot of people just don't understand what's going on. So first of all, I will say I haven't seen anything in regards to people speaking English, on social media, explaining what's going on in Vegas. Like no one really knows what's going on in
Thank
the
you.
Mirage.
Yeah.
So we'll take this video, all of us together, we can share it among everybody, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
everybody, I noticed that recently people were saying that it's a police issue in Iran when it was
No.
basically Floyd, the different police issues where people have died. Like
Yeah.
we should stand up against, the police. So even though it's the police, it's really the government and the philosophy and the propaganda in Iran compared to
Well, yeah,
regular,
and police
regular
with
policing
too much
procedures.
power, where they're weaponized and the people are not, which is what America wants to do.
The military.
take the
it's
weapons
military-
away.
The military is not for the people. It's militarized against the people.
Got it. Here's actually the question I
Exactly.
wanted to ask you, because this is very interesting. So a lot of people believe that in America that we have all these firearms and everyone's against firearms in America. Now the question is, in Iran,
not.
people don't have firearms, right?
Nope.
So do you believe that in America, like things like this would ever happen because we all have firearms? Like every home, they say, could have 10 firearms. Like some people believe that the government wants to take away all of our firearms, but there's probably millions and millions of guns in the United States of America. And that's the reason why it probably prevents war. If someone wanted to come onto this land, how many weapons do all the Americans have where we would all start fighting? Like if Russia wanted to attack us, or would they ever come to our soil because we have so many firearms at every door? So
I think Russia would just nuke us, but anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in Iran, nobody has firearms, right?
I think
No,
I
They're
nobody
fighting
has
back with
firearms.
rocks.
I think there needs to just be a fair balance. Like no one's saying
Some
not to
people
have
do.
guns. Okay, just use it responsibly, right? You know, whatever. If there's like a burglar or something, or coming on your property, or
And most people do. Most people in America use them responsibly.
Well,
So-
but then, like in America too, people get ARs. Like, do you really need an AR? You're not in the military. Most people are not in the military, right? So maybe it just needs to be balanced. But like people in Iran, there's no guns. Okay, there
Nothing.
should be
Nothing,
guns,
yeah.
right? But be responsible.
What do you think about if a government, another country, started supplying
Europe
weapons,
has guns. They're
weapons
responsible, but
to
there's
the
not.
Iranian people?
But
Yeah, that'd
What
be
happens
great.
if-
That'd be great. Do
but
that,
you don't
please.
hear mass. But you don't hear mass murder, like murder shootings in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So there
believe-
needs to just be responsible.
You should be able to defend yourself. Like we have this.
But be responsible. But not,
So who
not
owns-
everyone needs to have ARs,
Got it.
and not everyone needs
So
to
who
have
owns
guns.
Wait, here's a question. So the whole point is, if people in Iran had firearms and had AR-15 rifles,
They can probably fight
would
faster.
you not have what's going on in that government? They would take over the
Probably
government.
not like this, where people are just dying right and left, like
Okay.
being murdered.
They'd probably
the
start
government.
killing the mullahs and the horrible people by now
Just
faster.
give someone a
but
snipe.
right now,
That's all we need.
but they can't do that because they got rocks and fire.
Got it. So what happens if the
I don't
government
know.
started supplying firearms to all the people in Iran?
Well, this
like-
government
Autonomy.
is
It's
not
a
going
sense of
to
autonomy, I
give guns to the people.
No, but let's just say there's all kinds of things that these different governments do. They can basically give weapons. They can do different things. No one's going to say that America is giving firearms, but technically, if you really want to give firearms to the people,
A lot of people
it can
think-
be done. It's not going to. Joe Biden's not going to say, "Oh, I'm sending guns." But if it was like Trump or someone,
They do it with other countries all the
I mean,
time.
they're sending firearms to Ukraine.
I would love
just-
guns and firearms to be shipped from the Persian Gulf, from the south, and get to the people somehow, so they can defend themselves against
They could
these
even go to the
horrible
borders
people.
and
But-
just disseminate.
And
Yeah.
the other perspective is that, and that's the reason why for us to bear arms in America is so important, because the government's never going to take over the people. The people would protect their
Exactly.
rights, right? And then the same thing, if in Iran, if they were able to, they were able to have firearms, they probably would be able to protect their rights and the women and all the civil rights abuse that's taking place.
That's
right.
right.
It's just an interesting perspective in regards to firearms. And I'm not saying I'm like pro firearms, pro guns, whatever.
Yeah, or you know
It's
what?
just very
Eliminate it
But just-
altogether where the police don't have them either. And then we live
That's
in
a
a
good
balanced
idea
land.
too. That's
So
a good idea.
Yeah,
we'll go back to the
I mean, it's not going to really change.
centuries ago.
Okay, any other last things that you want to share? So the bottom line is this: at this point in time, we're going to work on the billboard situation together. We're going to use the Problem Solver media list, and we're going to email
Even
all the
newspaper
media.
ad. I really want to blast a full page on the Review Journal and and the Las Vegas Sun. Anything
to get the word out there. Well, I think
Harry Reid International
We can even have the
Airport.
hotels like put Mahsa Amini's name on somewhere.
That might be a little bit tough because they're private.
Just a little bit, but
so. I mean, listen. The biggest thing is that you keep
I
bringing
just
more
want the
people to
Eiffel
these
Tower.
protests.
Maybe the Eiffel Tower here in town can be green, white, and red for a minute, like they do.
Sometimes
in
the
other
problem with
cities.
politics, they like a lot of the private companies like MGM. It's a public company that they're only involved.
I think it's their duty. They're obligated to do this for their fellow human. So if they can't do that, I don't even want to support any of them.
And you know what? There are probably Iranian
That's my
Americans who work in the casinos. You
I
know,
agree.
Everywhere.
It's a difficult situation. Okay, so bottom line is this: if people want to be involved, it's Sunday at
4:30.
4:30
Mirage.
from the Mirage. It's by the water.
You'll
They'll-
see us.
By the
You'll see us.
volcano,
It's a
right?
Okay. And anybody
Yeah.
can come out. It doesn't make a difference if you
Yeah.
basically for protecting women, people, civil rights,
Human
women's
rights.
human rights, anyone's rights, I guess, these days.
Yeah.
And then you can come out, you can bring kids, family. This is not,
I bring my daughter with
It's-
me.
Now, mind you, this protest was like the second largest after BLM that we had. This protest, the Persian one that we had last weekend.
It
So I'm
was
sure
bigger
it's
than
an-
the Black Lives
No,
Matter.
it was second.
Second. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the police were apparently like thanking us for having like such a cooperative.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Because
see
we
that.
are like that.
They
Well,
were
like-
a little threatening, just to be honest.
In the beginning, they were.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I noticed that you have to have a walkway. People
Yeah,
have to
for the
walk on
public.
the
You have to have a
sidewalk.
balance with
And
the
if you're
people and the
obstructing-
public. Yeah.
If you're obstructing the sidewalk, then technically it's a misdemeanor. So, but eventually, once they started explaining it, I mean, everyone was more relaxed. It's hard to control people, and you need more leaders. Though I think they did a good job. Eventually, in the beginning, I mean, I did notice there was some issues. There was a sergeant that was there was getting a little sweaty talking about
Yeah,
the issue.
yeah.
On last Sunday? Last Sunday?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, just because what happens is you were trying to, everyone was taking over the
Saturday,
sidewalk. People don't know. If you've never protested before, you think you could just take over the whole street, but you have to
No.
leave. You can't obstruct the sidewalk, which is one of the biggest things. But it seemed peaceful at the end. Everything was great. And that's the whole
Yeah.
point is a lot of people, if you don't know, if you
turned
don't know
well.
anyone that's Persian or from Iran, people think that everyone's crazy, right? It's just like Germans,
Bunch
right?
of terrorists.
People said that years ago about Germans. There's
That's
nice
the biggest
Germans.
stereotype. I was called that in 8th grade and I started crying. It was so
God.
traumatizing.
No, people are very rude, and kids can be very mean. So, and then we'll anyway, we'll work together in regards to getting some
What a
media out
shame.
there. We'll go from there. Anything else last that you want to for the public you want to share? Anything else before we wrap up? Anything else you want to share? I think you guys were great. You were very vocal about the topics
Should we
and explaining
bring
it.
the others to maybe come speak for a
Do we have
minute?
time for them?
Is there anything specific they want to come on and bring on?
Maybe.
If you, we can finish. We can talk here. If you
Okay.
want to bring
I have
anyone else
one more
on,
thing that
yeah,
I
go
want
for
to
it.
say.
Yeah,
It's a
say
personal
up.
experience. My uncle was actually protesting a little bit ago, and he went out with his wife and his in-law, And mind you, he's like a 40, 50-year-old man.
This is in Iran.
In Iran, they jumped him. 4 people started beating him up to the point where he got stitches on his eye. He's all bruised. He got like tape and everything. Like, they're brutal. They're not there to peacefully tell you what to wear and what to do. They're going to beat you up. They're going to kill you. So, I mean, it's a big thing for us to be standing up for it. And I'm so glad that, it's getting out there with, social media. Also, TikTok, the Massa Amini hashtag is 982.8 million views on TikTok alone. So, I mean, it's humongous.
I gotta say, I love TikTok.
Addicting.
Sorry.
I think more people that do the TikTok as well and with the hashtags and things is important. Okay. Do you want to? One of you want to just check to see if anyone else wants to share anything else I'm missing? Double check next door. Anything else that you want to add?
No,
you need to start doing more TikToks since you like TikTok.
I used to do them, but I've been busy now with Instagram and other stuff and just spreading the word however I can and just participating in the protests. And even when I was in Seattle, I jumped on there and my gosh, what a beautiful community out there. And it was Persians and non-Persians and it was amazing.
I think the biggest thing is that people need to know, especially people that listen, that it's not just about Iran. It's about human rights and
women and children,
women's rights and children, so on. That people can participate in this Sunday in regards to the protest.
Yeah, and people can't close their eyes and just look away and pretend like it doesn't exist. They need to be a part of this. And I'm, personally, I don't say please and thank you anymore. I just say, this is your obligation. You're going to do it or not. And then I just unfriend them on social media. That's how I like personally, because I can't deal with it.
I like this saying in regards to silence is violence. By
silence
not
is
speaking
violence.
Up. I've never heard that before until the last protest.
Basically, you don't say something, you're probably part of it.
Yeah, because it's the same people who root for other things, but yet they are quiet about this huge thing that's happening in Iran. Like, it makes no sense. It's a hypocritical move, I think.
No, I do like that. But it is important to say that silence is violence. People should be speaking up in general. Otherwise, you're actually for the violence. And we want to basically stop violence, whether it's Ukraine or in Iran.
Or Afghanistan.
There's different things happening all over the place.
Yeah, Iranians are putting their lives on the line and their families' lives on the line. What are you doing? Nothing? That's not cool.
So, I'm sorry, your first name?
MJ.
MJ, tell us what your thoughts are. I know you've been listening next to anything that you want to share in regards to this topic.
Yeah, so there's one important thing about the Democrats, basically, right? So the thing is that Biden is saying we're going to see like where this money is coming to Iran, that they're like killing people and stuff, right? But at the same time, he's making more deals and negotiations with Iran, right? So that's where the money is coming from. The money is not coming from just from the sky, right? It's coming from the money that you're giving to the terrorist government, right? We have nothing against Islam. We love freedom, just like America. You can be Muslim, you can be Jewish, whatever you want, right? But the thing is that we hate the Islamic regime. The Islamic regime is forcing people to listen to them, and if you don't, there is no warning. You just get killed. That's the worst part. And right now in Iran, it's not a protest anymore. It's a fight for freedom. It's
fight for your life.
Yeah, it's fight for your life. You're either gonna get killed or kill them, right? At this point, it's just a war, people against government. It's at first it was a peaceful protest and everything. People were basically just outside protesting, nothing, not killing anyone, not hitting anyone, and then the government randomly just started killing people. Like, what is this, right? And right now, I know this doesn't really sound right, but people have to have an answer for all the people that are getting killed.
They have to be accountable. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a protest anymore. It was a protest.
Yeah, America, Canada, European countries, UK. Everybody needs to keep Iran accountable.
Exactly,
it's
and
correct.
I'm telling you, like every time that we have these Democrats as presidents, right? All they do is they really love supporting terrorists.
Ida doesn't like
look at what they did to
I know my family's
Afghanistan,
divided.
right? I'm not saying Trump is gonna like save the Middle East or anything. At the end of the day, if Trump was a president too, he would do what's right for America, right? He doesn't. No one cares about other countries or the people of that country, right? But the whole Middle East, all the terrorists, they hated Trump because he was standing up against them. He was not giving them free money. He was not giving them an easy time. But these Democrats, they they just care about the money. That's it. You know,
Okay.
they do anything for money. And
It's a difficult
yeah.
situation at all. Anything else you want to share? I know we've basically been promoting for people in Vegas, 4:30 on Sunday to go out to help protest. Anybody can go out there in front of the Mirage Hotel. Anything else you want to add in regards to what other people can do to help support the Iranian people?
Yeah, so I supported BLM, Afghanistan, Armenia. I have a lot of Armenian friends, Ukrainian friends. I even donated money to Armenia. I supported the brands that would donate money to Armenia. Same thing with Ukraine. All that we are asking for, we're not asking for money. We're not asking for donations. We have a GoFundMe for billboards, but it's not like we're asking everyone to do it, right? It's usually just we're asking all the other Iranians to do it. All that we're asking for is share at least a story on your Instagram or a post, just like you did for all the other countries for BLM, and just be the voice of our people. You know, that's all that we're asking for. Nothing, no money, no nothing. That's it.
And also, let's just be clear that I know, like, he's very strong about Democrats and Republicans, maybe, but this is not about Democrat, Republican, or
It's
anybody.
human.
It's everybody needs to be involved, and there's a lot of Democratic celebrities who are, fighting for Iran, but like the government itself, sometimes you feel like they're with the regime. Because in 1979, when that big revolution happened and they kicked the Shah of Iran out, it was a Democratic.
I wish Mossadegh
Presidency,
was
so
in
coincidence.
power then.
It's a difficult situation, especially with the politics. And then, it's the same thing right now with like North Korea,
Yeah.
sending over a missile. If Trump was president, would that have happened?
North
Whether
Korea
it's
has been
Republican
an
or not.
animal regardless of what president. Let's just be honest.
But,
But
it seems
no,
like it's getting
Russia.
worse. It seems like it's
Probably
getting
no.
worse there.
No.
You got Russia, you got North Korea sending missiles, you got things going on in Iran. I mean, basically, it seems like these days there's a little bit of mayhem in other countries and even in the United States, especially coming back from COVID. I feel like a lot of people have mental illness and issues, and
Absolutely.
basically there's a lot of issues even with crime and violence going up as well, which definitely concerns me for me and my family, for the rest of the people locally here in Las Vegas. So again, MJ, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Again, Ava, Ida, Madonna, I appreciate you guys
Thank you.
joining
Thank you
all
for
your
having
thoughts.
us.
It's great. I'm glad you guys can express yourself, and I hope that all of us can share, this stuff on social media. We'll break it up a little bit, for TikTok and Instagram and all these different social
Can I say
media
one more thing?
platforms. Yeah, please go.
So the thing is that everyone that wants to come to America, they have to go through an FBI check, right? They look at your past, what you did, if you were a part of a terrorist organization or whatever, right? But the president of Iran, the leaders, right, the ones that are killing our people, all of their kids are living in America, in Canada, and they're killing girls in Iran because they're not wearing their hijab properly, but their own kids, daughters, are here naked, posting pictures on Instagram, whatever, social media, and they're basically enjoying the money that's coming from Iran. And how is that if, let's say, one of my family members wants to come here, they have to go through an FBI check very hard, right? How is that they cannot come, but their kids can easily just come here and get a free citizenship, green card, and whatever? That's just like one more thing that it's kind of like confusing,
No, absolutely. I mean, look, it's not a perfect world, but I'm glad that we're able to speak about it and voice our opinions and share information. Again, I really appreciate you guys coming to the show. We'll work together a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to Sunday getting more people out there in general. So again, thanks for coming on the Problem Solver Show. Again, every single Thursday, we're going live talking about different problems. If you need to go to theproblemsolver.vegas, which is a web app, and there's resources that are available. If you have any questions, concerns, problems, please let me know, the Problem Solver. And again, 702-999-1111. If you want me to connect you to any of the people that are here on the show. Again, I'm David Kohlmeier. We will see you next week, next Thursday. Please be safe and be careful.
Thank you.